welcome back to, I guess, a part 2. We're still in Chattanooga, exploring the area around, well, I don't even know what I'm saying, actually. I'm just trying to set this video up. And if you're here for the first time, my name is Michael, and what these videos are is, well, they're like a short little, well, they're not short, actually. They're a documentary of a little sabbatical year I took. Kind of. The year that I turned 60. I call it 50 at 60. And you could probably guess what that means. It's I visited all 50 states in 1 year. The year that I turned 60. I had a few false starts here, but let's get into it. So I'm having my cup of coffee here. I've been journaling this morning. As I alluded to yesterday, today is January 31st, last day of the year, 2024. And one of the things I always like to do every year, first of all, the hair thing here is from my buddy Frank. He kind of cracks up. He's like, dude, you and the hair. Just like my dad. By the way, I had mentioned before I'm doing this, and one of the people I'm thinking about as I'm traveling is my dad, who passed away at 60. And I don't think he was kind of given a raw deal, you know, a little short exit here from this planet. And I always wonder what he would have done for the next few years. He'd be 80-something right now. And what does it have to do with that? Every morning he would wake up, and I remember him having horrendous bedhead hair. So that's where we are as I stare at myself at the screen. Anyway, I spent the morning here journaling, really focusing on narrowing down these 25 words that I had ChatGPT help me with. Again, every year I come up with a word that kind of drives my interest through the year, keeps my focus. Drilled those down into 7 words, and I wrote those down along with the description that went with each word under the back of one of my little itineraries that I printed up. And I'm going to focus on that today. New Year's Eve has always been one of those days that I'm fairly stressed out because I have an event going on that night. I've been lighting events for the last 40 years, and it seems like out of those 40 years, probably 36 of them were spent, lighting really big events over in Palm Beach or up in Jupiter Island or wherever in Florida. Had a few annual ones that we did. At the Flagler we did a bunch, and again up in Jupiter Island, always doing something. And there was always the stress of getting those set up and knowing that, there's a time crunch. I don't really have any stress today, other than, I guess, self-imposed stress. Of course, for the last 40 years, like I said, 36 of those, maybe that was self-imposed stress too. Got a lot to reflect on today, and a lot to look forward to, maybe in the next chapter of my life. That's the way I'm looking at it today.
At the stop sign, turn right onto Pine Street.
All I can say is thank goodness for GPS and Apple and mobile directions.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto West Martin Luther King Boulevard.
I can focus on more important things like vlogging from the car. I think when we're done with this drone flight this morning, and by the way, that's what we're doing, heading out to a park across the river to, is this where I go? Yep. To maybe get a bird's eye view of Chattanooga, downtown Chattanooga. Off to the right side is my Hotel Indigo. I was flying in this parking lot again last night, getting a kind of a view of this interstate. It's a cute little town. I'll probably drive through it on the way back as opposed to... Well, I have no idea, actually. Anyway, I hope I have a good place to launch the bird. The sun is just starting to paint some color onto the clouds. It's gorgeous.
Use the right lane to turn onto Manufacturers Road toward North Shore. Then
Mike.
turn right into the parking lot.
Mike, you're looking all over the road. We hear the GPS. This is stressing us out, man. Oh, yeah. The sun is just... I may be a little bit late to this. I should have gotten here about a half hour ago and scoped this out.
Go past this light, then turn right into the parking lot.
I hope I don't get bothered flying this
Arrived.
thing. All right, we are at Renaissance Park. The question is this a good place to fly the drone? And let's keep going. I think there's another park over here. Let's try that first. It's called Coolidge Park. It's an 8-minute walk. Or
Starting route to Coolidge Park.
a 2-minute drive. Signal Mill. Yeah, that used to be some sort
You've
of a...
entered the parking lot for your destination.
Oh, I'm going the wrong way here. I best get this bird up in the air before the sun is just coming over the hill there. You should have scouted this last night. This is me bumbling around in the morning. People jogging in the morning. It's a footbridge here. But what you don't see, unfortunately, is there's a homeless element happening. I guess it happens in every big city, but again, I'm not from here. I don't feel totally safe going under that bridge, but there's a walk, so many walkways here. There's a walkway that goes underneath that bridge and then underneath this interstate. And again, there's a couple of guys down there on bikes and a guy that's wandering around in some sort of a gray cape of sorts. Part of the reality of travel is the reality of life and observing what's going on around you. I mean, I need to be hyper aware, obviously, when I'm recording. I've got bags of camera gear and various things. I don't want to intrude. I don't want to cause a problem. The Whiskey Run. I guess it was some sort of a run here. This is a gorgeous area. I don't want to downplay what I'm seeing here. Carefully cross the road. This is a great time to be out. I thought this was going to be rush hour this morning. There's just a menagerie of bridges here. I think if I was going to be here for very much longer, again, on my to-do here would be the museum, for sure, the aquarium, and then taking the time to photograph the light streaks of the traffic from these various bridges, because there's so many places that you have access to that. There's an extended sidewalk there with a fence around it. There's these two major bridges. Again, let me show you this here. So these condos here, you know, $1 million view across the river. And then this is the top of the footbridge. And then this is a walkway that goes underneath this little riverside interstate, if you would. And it goes over to the other side where I was flying my drone. Again, that's, if I was homeless, that's where I would go, because you're kind of undercover. Guy walking around vlogging by himself. I don't want to put a target on my back, but I would literally be putting a target on my back. There's a side of me that just wants to get down there and strike up a conversation with these guys and find out their story, because they have a story. And as somebody who's traveling and wanting to tell stories, I think I missed an opportunity. But I am safe, and I'm ready to get back in my car and get some breakfast. A lot of cool little places to live here, but it's really quiet. Eerily quiet. I think I'm going to chat with the Valet guys up here at the Edwin. I'm gonna try to get a lowdown on the town.
My name is Triz, and I am originally from Michigan, and I just moved to Chattanooga about 6 months ago, and I love it here. I really can't complain about the weather. Being in Michigan, we deal with snowstorms, especially in the wintertime, and just being able to wake up in the morning and not needing to shovel the driveway or clean snow off your car, I really can't complain, and this is a beautiful city, and I'm just really blessed to be here.
It is a gorgeous morning out. I'm sure I could have just flown the drone right here. This facility is monitored by security cameras. Maybe I would have flown it for like 10 seconds. I'll tell you, there was a lot of people on this bridge last night. Kind of nice to have it somewhat to myself. I was down a few minutes ago, walking down to get the car, and I reparked it. These were the condos I was talking about with the view. They seem $1 million view because as you look out, if you're looking this way, the left side would be the aquarium. You got 3 bridges, and then the mountains or the hills. I'm not really sure which way we're looking, north, south, east, or west. I would gather the sun is rising. Let me figure this out. The sun is behind me right now, so it's rising from the east. This would be looking to the north. I bet it looks gorgeous again in the fall. One of the intentions of my year-long quest to see all 50 states is to explore other areas of the country that I might be okay living in. I think I'm gonna have to put Chattanooga on that list. Getting off track here again. I just wanted to go out onto this little, it's not really, I thought it was like a little section that just juts out for you to view the interstate, but it's not. It's a switchback for a walkway. It goes up, and it's part of this bridge. But again, it's another great place to photograph car lights from right here. Scouting for a future trip. All right, so let me get back on track. First of all, this breakfast thing, I don't think it's going to happen here. There doesn't seem to be anywhere open here to grab breakfast. They do serve breakfast on the ground floor here at the Edwin, just for the record. I think I'm in probably one of the nicest areas here. Probably an area that, again, I wouldn't mind living if I could afford this. But it's a place that would be a good home base too, I think, if you're going to explore North Carolina, Tennessee, and this beautiful area of our country, the Smoky Mountains. Be a little bit of a trek to get there, but a good weekend drive. Not that this is relevant to the story, but this is Market Street. as I begin this episode of 50 at 60 and I work on my plans for the new ones, I really want to embrace curiosity even more than I have so far. I had that quick chat with that valet guy today, and that meant a lot because that's a barrier that's been hard for me to break down, and I want to do more of that. It doesn't matter. I mean, I could ask 10 people to give me their insight on something, and if one says yeah, then it's worth it. But again, I want to embrace curiosity a little bit more. I want to ask more questions. I want to meet more people. And I want to tell more stories. And I think that's going to be my focus, certainly going forward into next year and hopefully within the next coming years. Very interested in documenting the lives and stories of others. So that's going to be my focus. We'll talk about that more in the next episode. I appreciate you being here. It's been fun. I had a lot of fun here in Chattanooga. I think I got some good drone footage. And yeah, had a couple of good meals. I think it was a great start to the season. And again, let's hit the road and say goodbye to Chattanooga.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little therapy session. Yeah, these are travel videos, but again, they're kind of a deeper dive, I guess, into the inner workings of this strange mind during this sabbatical that I gifted myself. It wasn't really a sabbatical, it was a little bit of a break. A journey to visit all 50 states. By the way, my word for the year that I chose was shift. And it's taken me so long to edit this video, I'm actually into 2026 now with a brand new word. That word's transformation, by the way. And I'm trying to apply one single part of my life every month that I'm trying to transform. There's a little backstory to that. Anyway, I think we're going to get a bit deeper next week as I'm traveling here, eventually ending up in Gatlinburg for the fireworks for New Year's Eve on this beautiful day here in the end of 2026. Sorry, 2024. Anyway, next week I'm gonna dive pretty deep into a podcast I was listening to. My sister recommended from Mel Robbins about reflecting on your past year when you're planning for your new year. So that should be pretty interesting, I hope. You know, I never know when I start editing these things. I got just a pile of footage. Anyway, we'll see you next week. I appreciate you being here.